Welcome back, everybody, man. New episode, Flavor in Your Ear podcast. We got a special guest. You know, somebody told me the other day, why I always say special. Every guest I got is special. They got a story to tell. So I'm going to continue to say that they special because they are special. They're giving me time of day to come out and tell their story. So, and today's going to be a good one because not only is it a good story in terms of an individual journey, but you're going to get some good stories about some juicy stuff, some content, right? So
yeah, I mean something like that.
Yeah. So it's a two-way hitter. All right. So my special guest, DJ Genesis, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. It's good to be on the Flavor in Your Ear podcast. You know
Appreciate it.
That's what's up?
All right.
Appreciate being here, brother.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you for coming. That's the most important thing.
Of course, man. You know, I mean, Miami's always busy, but you know, if anybody wants to take the time to talk to your boy about things that they want to learn about me, I'm here, man. So I'm here to support and be a part of the progress, man.
So what I think we should always start is like how we start this podcast is always who you were before DJ Genesis, how you got there, what was the mindset to get there, what got you to that point, what brought you to be DJ Genesis. We know a little bit of the story, right? We've already brushed on that, but let's give them, how it started, the house parties,
all of that. But shout out to you for starting too. You know what I'm saying? You guys are up to about 131, I believe. 151, I heard before the show. 151. So make sure you guys subscribe. And I heard a couple of videos got 1,000 views. So I'm gonna try to get to. My goal is to get to about 3K, 4K. You know what I mean? So just make it happen.
No complaints here.
I mean, make sure you subscribe. Daddy, these guys are doing an amazing job. So yeah, how did it start, man? DJ Genesis, where it all begins, right? That's just that's actually what Genesis means. You know, it means the beginning. So how it started was, I was about 20, man. I loved the vibe of a party, man. I never forget doing my graduation party from Miami-Dade. I went to Miami-Dade. Shout out to the Sharks. Anybody that represent MD, of course, man. Miami-Dade heavy in these streets, man.
Special, baby.
Hey, man. We heavy in these streets, man. We may not say it a lot, but we heavy in these streets, Miami-Dade. You know, so after I graduated from Miami-Dade, me and my friends, we got together, and 3 of us were graduating together. We was like, yo, we want to throw a party. Yeah. We was like, all right, cool, no problem, yo. And we were funding it ourselves, like some 19-year-old kids that were trying to get out there, you know what I mean? And we got a hotel ballroom, and we were like, yo, we need a DJ or whatnot, right? So we went out, we was trying to scope some DJs, and all the DJs were very expensive. My friend was like, no.
Oh, always, yeah.
She's like, no, we're not doing that. You know?
Yeah.
He's like, yo, Chris, you just got to figure it out. And I was like, chew, what I'm going to do? So there were a couple mixtapes that were out there. We got a lot of Caribbean people in our family and our friends, so a couple of those mixtapes that was out there, and I had a little program on the computer. I can't remember the name it was, but I was able to cut some of these mixtapes up and like make an extended mix for like the party or whatnot, right? And it came out pretty well, you know what I mean? Shout out to those DJs that had those mixes that I was able to chop. Yeah. This is like the Renegade, Black Chinese, those guys. So I was able to get those CDs and kind of like make a little bootleg vibe, and everybody was jamming to it at the party, and they were like, yo, this is pretty good. And so from there, a couple of people was at the party. I really had an interest of like, yo, putting music together. So I don't know if I was going to go down the production alley or probably the DJ alley, but one of my good friends at the time introduced me to her boyfriend at the time, who was an actual DJ. They were DJing. They had a couple little equipment at the crib and stuff like that. And soon after, it just seemed to be like, it just seemed to connect for me to start learning the actual craft of DJing. Right. This is about 2003, 2004, whatnot. So that's when I started the actual craft of putting the skill together, man. I didn't have a name yet. I didn't know what I was going to be good at. I didn't know if I was going to be good. I just knew that this was something I wanted to try because it was a challenge and it was something that I figured I could be good at.
So I got a couple questions out of everything we just said. One, do you think the art of the house party has died? Like, when we was kids, house parties were big, right? We had the movies. It was like a thing. It was an epic thing for a kid to have a house party, right? Booty music, the Uncle Al, Uncle Luke, all that stuff. You think that has lost its touch?
No, the reason why
we just old.
I think we're just old. Right? We maybe some of us, especially if you're in that 30 to 40 age range, whatever, you're probably now getting your house. You probably now got your first crib, and you probably got young kids. Yeah. So you're probably not gonna put your house up for house parties. You know what I mean? You're not inviting a lot of people over to
I think I would be that cool parent though.
I mean, you know,
I'd rather at my house than somebody
I know,
else's.
but I'm saying if you have young kids, if your kids are like 4 or 5, you're not really having a house. It's until they get older, you know what I mean? Because I was able to be privy to do a couple of these parties. So when you get house parties and kids are like 16, 17, 18 years old, those house parties still rocking.
So you think these young bucks are still?
Oh, for sure. I know that. I know they have a little. There's some guys down in like the Kendall area, the Coral Gables area that promote stuff, and they have like they mansion parties because these little rich kids don't really have anywhere to really go to hang out.
Yeah.
So some of their parents allow them to come to their houses here, there, and they have a little promotion crew like that does this stuff. So trust me, the house parties are still rocking. We may not know about them because we may not have. We don't have kids that age that's doing it yet. So we like in that middle tier.
Yeah.
You know, but trust me, the house parties are definitely rocking here in South Florida, man.
Okay, yeah. Sure. I remember when I was a kid, man. House party 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
I don't know about adults.
It was like an era.
It was. I mean, we still party, but maybe not to that extent. The kids are doing it, but in terms of adults, I think probably once you get 40, 45, that's when you get back into that house party. Your friends don't really want to go nowhere. 444. Yeah, you know what I mean.
You on that grown man tip.
But house parties are still popping, especially in Florida where you got backyards and big houses.
Yeah,
trust me, ain't nothing like a good house party in South Florida, man. Because we got all the amenities to make it happen and make it be dope.
All right, so you said you didn't even have the name yet. How did the name
come about, yo? So I kind of grew up Christian, Christian household or whatnot. So I was actually at a friend's house and I was in her apartment and coming out it's weird. I was coming out the shower and she just had a bunch of flyers on her wall, just around the wall, and I was just like, and one of them just said Genesis, and it just stood out. Like I guess it was the name of the party. And I was like, yo, I didn't have a name. I was going through some, inspector, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a bunch of weird stuff that I was trying to figure out. And when I saw Genesis, it just clicked at that time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it had a bit to do with the Bible and putting that together in terms of how I was brought up. And obviously this new journey that I was about to embark on, So I picked that name. And it was actually Select the Genesis, how I started, because I started in the Caribbean scene, and Select the Renegade, who was a big influence on me starting and wanting to know how the craft of DJ, and kind of took the Selector from to show homage. Shout out to Select the Renegade, but eventually it switched to DJ Genesis when I was on Mix 96 by Quasi Chris. That's actually a pretty funny story. Okay, but yeah, so I was in her room, and that's how Genesis was born. Real talk, and I stuck with it. Just wanted to see how it would feel, how it would roll off. And I've never had somebody say, that's a terrible name. And people call me in the streets by Genesis, so I know it's definitely stuck, and people definitely recognize me by.
Now, when you first started, everybody always has like the little learning curve. When did you figure out like, yo, I'm really good at this? This is my jam.
Ooh, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. Definitely about that learning curve. I'll never forget learning how to mix. The first rhythm or the first song I learned to mix on
real quick. Is it natural or can you learn it? Can anyone just learn it?
If you have rhythm, I think if you have any kind of rhythm, you know what I'm saying, you should be able to learn. If you can count beats, right. If you can pick up the air for it if you want to, and you have some type of rhythm, you know what I'm saying? I do feel that some people do not have the ear.
Okay.
Some people don't got it, like they don't have a rhythm bone in their body. But those that has a rhythm, you can pretty, and I played band too. I was I played the trumpet.
Oh, so you already had,
you know what I'm saying? So I had a little rhythm. I could read notes. I know beats and counts and stuff like that.
Okay.
But mixing is totally different because you got to catch beats, with another song.
The transitioning.
Yeah, and the transition and so on. So I never learned. I learned on the buyout rhythm, Like Glue. You know that song, Sean Paul, no matter what people say. Exactly. You know what I mean? That rhythm there.
High school era.
Exactly. I learned on that rhythm how to mix and play. You had to cue up from the drop. Those DJs know what I'm talking about. And being able to catch it on an 8 count to make sure you mix it in clean and stuff like that. And trust me, the first week or 2, I was terrible.
That's what I'm saying.
It was atrocious. Yeah, man. Because what I was learning on, and then we didn't have, we had turntables, and we also had like this Pioneer was coming out with this little push button type controller with CDs, because we were moving from the vinyl to the CD era when I was coming in, when I was starting to DJ. So learning on that, and learn how to fade it up and so on and so forth to be able to catch the beat. Yeah, man, it definitely, because we didn't have computers like we do now where you can see the wave files and you can kind of catch it with your eye. It was all ear. You know what I mean? So definitely going through that was a blessing, you know, because once I was able to do that, it's like getting out of first gear when you're driving a stick shift. Once you can get out of first gear, once you can mix, now it comes into knowledge of music and how I can mix this together, and just with practice. And I was hungry, you know what I'm saying? So to answer your question about the first time I knew this was me was probably when I got love from the people that I looked up to, you know, other DJs. It wasn't really like a party.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Like, the party's rocking.
Party's rocking. Nah, what happens is before the party rock, you gotta have the confidence to know you're gonna rock the party. You know,
okay.
How you build that confidence, you don't go. I didn't take it the chance. I knew I was good. I would practice. Obviously, you have little house parties here where you know, like, yo, this is a vibe. I got them on the dance floor. You know what I'm saying? You got a little checklist that you check off, and then I'll never forget the first time I was able to perform. Let's say a big party. Let's say over 400 people at Bayside Hut at one of these Generation X events. You know, it was a soca event. And, the people was vibing. I had 15 minutes, you know. Ironically, Select the Renegade, the person I named, came and played after me.
Oh,
like, you know what I'm saying? It was pretty nuts how all that happens.
And he gave you some props?
Not really. He didn't know who I was, you know. And this is like the heat of the party, you know. So it's like, hey, all right, boom, that's your last song. All right, cool, yeah.
Time for me to take over.
He's
in his mode.
He's in his zone. He's in zone for sure. So at that particular moment, there's no time for, hey, what's up, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And me, even at a young age, and a young DJ understood that. You know, like, yo, go rock out, go do your thing. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to make sure that I belong here. You know, and I definitely did, because those things you can either lose confidence or gain confidence. And after that, I was like, yeah, I belong. You know what I'm saying? What I've been putting in and the work I've been putting in behind the scenes definitely makes sense. So I would say probably that first gig in front of like 400 or 500 people was probably after I finished. Even though it was a small set, I knew I held my own, and I know I can continue. Yeah. And then after that, obviously the promoters show you love and so on and so forth, and then you keep building.